YouTube is cash, so this is the next chapter in the optical chopper saga. Stay tuned because all this is going to come together at the end of this series in an interesting way. I have some very fun ideas that I'm going to all put together, which if you've been following along, you kind of have an idea of where I'm kind of going, but I have some surprises still, so stay tuned for that. Sorry that it's taking so long since the last episode. I have a tendency to do that anyway. Had some technical difficulties and also just had a lot to experiment and try out to kind of get this or learn how to do this. There's no, textbook or directions or manual to kind of figure this sort of stuff out. So it's really just trial and error. But it was fun, and I also had some interesting results because like some of the batteries on the lights kind of ran out as I was recording a couple times, and that kind of also made some interesting effects because just the natural light in the room passing through these kind of also made a signal that kind of was cool too. So I have a lot of variation and different takes and I did a lot of learning in this whole since the last episode. So anyway, so as you can see here, this has kind of changed a lot since the last time you've seen it. I made some modifications, I guess you want to call it. So I put these two flashlights here, these LED flashlights, and a laser pointer. And you'll see why that's there in just a second. The flashlights, if you can see, are at different distances, which kind of mirror the distances of the two lasers and sensors that are built into the optical chopper. So when I incorporate this with my photothermin, I can put the two sensors at closer to the center or farther away from the center to kind of create these two layers of signals at different times too, because they're at different distances as well. So it kind of creates this really interesting these interesting layers of signals. Since they hit their marks at different times, you have to kind of like time it or make sure that these are in a certain sequence so that they make sense together rhythmically, which took some time to kind of figure that out. This laser here, the interesting thing about that is that I'm using that with this guy here. This is a Lite-Mike, which is basically just a light sensor, but it's not very sensitive. So I can leave all the lights on in the room. I can I shine a light in it, and it doesn't really do anything. But as soon as I shoot a laser into it, the signal comes through. So yeah, I get some really good note variation out of this, both by angle and also by the gels. That's another interesting layer to this. So I have two signals coming out of the optical chopper. I split the signal coming out of my optical theremin, and I have one signal coming out of the Lite-Mike. And that creates all the sounds that you're hearing in this. As I was doing all this stuff, I recently watched this video. It was the Japan Earthquaker YouTube channel where they did this video about the data corruptor, which I never knew this, but you can make the data corruptor self-oscillate. These switches kind of like click. And if you kind of just make it go in between the two clicks there, it'll self-oscillate. And when I saw this, I was like, that's exactly what I need with this whole wacky setup that I'm doing right now. So I could play with these two knobs here, if you want to call them that, and it creates like this whole variation of like weird sonic sounds. I'll list all the pedals down below in the description so you can kind of see what those are. It all kind of came together in an interesting way, and I was really happy with the end result. So check it out. Stay tuned. I got a lot of weirder stuff kind of coming into play here soon with some mechanical elements. I promise not to disappoint you. So take care. Thanks.